Ali Mufuruki, a doting father, businessman, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a visionary leader. He was an astute gentleman with a humble persona and a fiercely unapologetic African.
I was born in a village on the shores of Lake Victoria, that's to the north of this country, near the Ugandan border. If you look it up on the map, it's near Kemondo Bay, small place. And I grew up with my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, up to the age of 13. My mother hadn't been married into a polygamous marriage and moved away from Bukoba to the next region to the south, that is Mwanza, where my dad was trying to look for opportunities as a tailor at first and later as a trader.
Ali was one of the most remarkable Africans of his generation and a great source of inspiration to young people. A man propelled by desire for sustainability, Ali used technology in driving African growth.
By the time I'm done talking, you'll be upset, depressed, or even angry. But that is precisely my intention. I hope that we can channel that anger into some constructive conversation. I have a passion for telling stories. I've always admired movie makers, and I love watching movies. And I love watching movies that have a lot of emotion, a lot of powerful stories. I love reading books. If I had to do it all again and I had to choose something different to study, I would have studied filmmaking, I would have studied literature and languages.
Ali was the chairman and CEO of Infotech Investment Group Limited and an engineer by profession. Ali served on several boards in various capacities. He most recently served as the chairman of Vodacom Tanzania. He was one of the founders of CEO Roundtable of Tanzania and the chairman of Trademark East Africa. Ali was a founding trustee of the Mandela Institute for Development Studies, an Africa-wide think tank that provides an inclusive platform for dialogue, information dissemination, and networking.
As we celebrate what are without doubt important milestones of African life, we must ask ourselves what we have done with our freedom over the last 6 decades. How much of it, if any, is left? We must understand and wake up to the harsh reality that the responsibility for delivering the new Africa that the world is calling for rests squarely with the current generation of Africans. We cannot afford to fail.
In 2002, Ali, alongside others, established the African Leadership Initiative that has played a key role in developing ethical leaders across the continent. Since inception, ALI has empowered a number of leaders who are now shaping the continent in a positive light. ALI forms part of the Aspen Global Leadership Network and spans across Africa. It is represented in 3 regions: West Africa, East Africa, and South Africa. Ali Mufuruki's vision for Africa lives on.
He was a great storyteller, sharing experiences and driving big picture thinking. He was intense but jovial, humble and purposeful in all his sharings.
Our role model, our mentor, our champion, and our encourager, Ali Mufuruki. He saw in us a group of African leaders grounded in conscience, in courage, and in commitment. He was vulnerable with us about his struggles as a leader and open even when he started having health challenges. He always picked up the phone when you called.
Let me reiterate that now is not the time for complacency. Single-digit GDP growth is not enough to sustain our growth trajectory. We must work harder and aim higher.
There is no way you can be growing when you are destroying your environment, when you are killing your economy, when your education or the education levels of your people are so mediocre, when your share of global trade is declining, when you have no infrastructure and it's going to take you centuries to build to a level where you can be competitive. That is not rising. So I just wanted to put that in context. But that's not to say that Africa cannot rise. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we need to get real. We need to make sure that we do not mistake hype for reality. We do not mistake hope for achievement.
We all have a duty. I have a duty to expand the space that the dreams of my children and future generations can occupy. You too, out there, have that same responsibility. Please keep up the good work. Please keep succeeding and never give up. Despite all our shortcomings, poverty and all the negative things that are always associated with the continent, something great is afoot in Africa. Thanks to the industriousness of its people and thanks to information technology. Actually, Africa is the most exciting place to be for young people, for all people of all ages. I wish you all a very successful and productive conference. Thank you very much for listening to me.